conditions coming up, but first we start with senior meteorologist Bill Race. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning. Important to note that also with that snow that's going on, there very well could be a mix with that. It's easier to obviously to see the snow than a the winds are really brisk out of the north at 16, making it feel like 19 degrees. Now, the temperature will likely continue to fall as this precipitation continues. It doesn't fall drastically, but it could fall a few more degrees. Because the humidity is 66%, that puts the dew point at about, I would say about 17 or 18 degrees. And so this temperature is going to start falling a little closer to the dew point, and the dew point will come up as well. Now, that ice storm warning is still in effect for most of the area. We have that wintry mix today and tonight, but just mainly rain still on Sunday. And on radar, we have continued to see, and it's early on here in this storm. We're just getting started here with still on Sunday. And on radar, we have continued to see, and it's early on here in this storm. We're just getting started here with still on Sunday. And on radar, we have continued to see, and it's early on here in this storm. We're just getting started here with still on Sunday. And on radar, we have continued to see,
Morning News Channel 9's Meg Doyle joins us live. Meg, are you already seeing those conditions changing?
Good morning, Fallon. Yes, we are. About an hour ago, it was mostly just sleet. But I mean, as you can tell, the snow is definitely falling here on Signal Mountain. And there's even enough of it, a little bit, I can make a little snowball. Now, it's not exactly that firm, hard snow you need for that, but there's enough here for that to happen. It is so important to just be mindful. If you have to head out on the roads today, be so careful. Up here on the mountain, these roads already have a coating of snow. If you can see, my photographer Brent's going to show you there. I know that TDOT and GDOT and our surrounding areas have been working hard, salt and brining the roads the past few days. But of course, it is snow and it is very cold up here. Last I checked, it's about 27 degrees here up on the mountain. Careful if you head out, especially as Bill was saying, mixed in with other precipitation can make for very slick spots. Now, you can't see this beautiful view behind me because it is just all snow, but I can kind of see the tops of houses down in the Tennessee Valley already having that dusting of white snow on top. I mean, it is beautiful out here. I can't lie, a little chilly, but it is like a winter wonderland. Again, we're getting some already accumulation on the ground, which is very exciting. If you're wanting to go out and play in the snow today, go sledding, build a snowman, there should be enough for that soon because it's coming down pretty hard and pretty fast. The wind is starting to pick up here as well. So again, if you can stay home today, that is the message we've been saying all week. I'm sure you're sick of hearing it, but really, please stay home. Not only does it keep yourself safe, other drivers on the road safe, but our first responders safe who also, you know, responding to hopefully less wrecks, the more people who stay home. So definitely just try to be safe and warm this weekend. I'll continue to bring you updates up here on the mountain. But yes, the snow is here in the Tennessee Valley. Reporting live, I'm Meg Doyle.
Thank you, Meg. Stay warm for those updates. And let's take a look now at our exclusive traffic tracker. As you can see, it is green light conditions, but you have seen all that snow. So if you are heading out there this morning, drive slowly and carefully. And now let's take a live look outside from our TDOT SmartWay cameras. Wow, just look at this, covered in snow. This is on I-40 between Memphis and Jackson, Tennessee. As you can see, roads are covered. Again, we're tracking the system and any road impacts as it nears us. Nothing like that here just yet, as it just came down, but we'll continue to have updates throughout this newscast. And Governor Bill Lee urges caution this weekend amid a state of emergency across Tennessee. Take a listen.
We are coordinating state, local, and federal officials. We will have, obviously, our emergency operations centers are open TEMA Emergency Operations Center is open. Information is available at the TEMA website.
Governor Brian Kemp says his state is in a similar situation.
As always, our state team will be pre-treating and preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. But just want to remind everybody to go out, be winter weather prepared, and we'll keep you posted on how things are going.
Both governors add troopers and dispatchers will work around the clock to take calls, help drivers, and clear vehicles from the interstates. And staying safe inside your home is also key. We spoke with firefighters and electricians about how to best prepare and stay safe during power outages.
Homeless population move inside just to get out of the weather, and they try to start fires to stay warm, and that causes residential fires and vacant structures.
Portable generator, you want to keep a distance from your house, 20 feet from your house, because you'll have exhaust coming out of that thing. We don't need any carbon monoxide to get into your house.
Another note, employees with Chattanooga Gas tell us call 911 if you see any exposed gas meters or lines as you try to heat your home. And a doctor in Chattanooga tells us older adults could be at a higher risk this weekend as that potential storm sets in, but he says there is still help available in the event of an emergency.
They call 911. A lot of times the dispatchers, depending on exactly kind of what the medical emergency or condition is, the dispatchers are trained to talk them through some things that they can do kind of immediately while they wait for your first responders or anyone to kind of show up for this. So that would probably be their best option.
Dr. Hitchcock adds icy conditions can increase the risk of slips and falls, so use caution. And we also have several school closings to tell you about already. That includes Meigs County Schools, Ray County Schools, Cleveland City Schools, Dayton City Schools, Polk County Schools, and more. Hamilton County Schools will not have any campus events today or Sunday. Now, district officials there tell us they have not made a final decision about Monday's classes. Make sure to visit newschannel9.com for a complete list of closings. And of course, you can stay up to date on the latest forecast with our Storm Track 9 weather app. Our app is one of the best ways to get weather alerts, even if your power goes out. Just scan the QR code on your screen or search WTVC Storm Track 9 on the App Store to download. And coming up next, a winter storm is already underway across parts of the U.S. But what about your furry friends? What experts advise amid cold temps this weekend? Welcome back. This weekend's winter weather will hit several states across the country. In Georgia, animal experts are sharing tips with farmers and how to prepare for the extreme cold and icy weather. Brian Unger reports.
We're up here in Cherry. We hunker down for the weekend. Hey, how's it going?
She's making sure her clients like Kelly Bond are prepared for extreme cold and ice.
Ooh, easy.
In typical dry cold weather, livestock like horses have a remarkable ability to thermoregulate. How do they stand the cold temperatures?
We'll just get her all bundled up after.
They have 2 coats of hair and go through a process called piloerectation.
Come here.
In cold temperatures, the hair will stand on end, creating a thicker insulating layer of warm air close to the skin.
Once they get wet with the weather coming in, there's not going to be a lot we can do.
When a horse is wet, the process breaks down. Richardson says a blanket is a critical safeguard. And the best protection, horses should be put up inside a barn during a nice event. For chickens, water, a ventilated coop, and a heat source.
And they've installed these heated pads.
And no drafts or sources of wind are the best protection.
There is that little bit there, though, that's open. So that's where a draft could come in.
And without question, Richardson says all dogs and cats should be sheltered indoors during the approaching and potentially extreme weather. Unlike horses, dogs and cats are highly prone to frostbite.
That was Brian Unger reporting. Veterinarians urge owners to monitor their farm animals throughout extreme weather. And for all animals, access to food and water is key.
All right, we're looking downtown from the DoubleTree Hotel. You can see the snow is flying, and we have seen in some areas even a dusting of snow. I think the valleys, as we were saying earlier in the last hour that we were on, that an inch or less, mainly less than an inch in the valleys, but those mountain areas where it's snowing heavier, as we saw from Meg, a couple inches of snow is not going to be out of the question at all as this goes along. Now, let me show you the storm tracker where this has been really all snow as I say all snow. There's obviously a mix around here, but what I meant to say was from middle and now West Tennessee, all of the blue here has been mostly snow, and they have had some heavier accumulations out middle and west, mostly West Tennessee at this point. They really just got started in Middle Tennessee. So we get in closer here, and you're not going to see too much of the green or even the pink color at this point. We're kind of in our steady snow with some sleet and freezing rain mixed in, because most temperatures are at or below freezing at this point. And as far as temperatures regionally, 30 degrees Chattanooga. Look how cold. Nashville, 19. And with the snow, it's very cold in West Tennessee, 15 to 20 degrees, but Memphis now down to 14 degrees. And as we look into our area a little closer, 30 degrees. I just double checked the airport, still 30 degrees. And they are reporting light snow and sleet at the last observation a few minutes ago. 19 degrees in Crossville, 22 in Pikeville, just upper 20s to lower 30s most areas, and right around that critical 32-degree range. But in the higher elevations, it's plenty cold enough that the icing could become much more problematic much faster. Wind chills. That's a factor. 7 degrees in Crossville, 19 in Chattanooga, for instance. So when we look at how things are going to be moving along here, the temperature probably will fall a couple more degrees, maybe to around 28 or so in Chattanooga. Crossville, 22, indicating a lot of our mountain temperatures. Now, this is at 10:30 this morning. We see some of the pink starting to show back up here and the blue. So we're starting to see a little bit more of the mix infiltrate here as we go into the afternoon. Perhaps even a little break in the precip south from Chattanooga as this is 4 p.m. But temperatures remain, for the most part, where it's precipitating around freezing or below freezing. We move along into the nighttime hours. We still got some mix going on. We also have just some rain going on. The transition starts to take place where we're just seeing the liquid precipitation, but it's still around freezing. We get to around midnight or so, and we're still in the same situation. It isn't until really daybreak tomorrow that everyone is warm enough that it's just going to be rain. And then the rain could get kind of heavy, even with a cold rain in the 30s and lower 40s. This is at 10:30 a.m. And then that starts to move on off in the afternoon, at least diminishing. Temperatures will be milder. I say milder, but it makes a big difference. Upper 30s into the 40s. Any icing that we will have had should be alleviated by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon, and then that moves on off. So let's just talk a little bit about icing and the amounts of ice that are possible here in our area. And you'll see along those higher elevations, along the ridge, and even Chattanooga, maybe 1/10 of an inch of ice, 3 to 4/10 of an inch of ice. Along the plateau is going to take a much longer time for those folks to get above freezing. And some places, no ice accumulation at all. And then you talk about some snow potential, 1/2 inch or so in Chattanooga, with what we're having mainly this morning. And then along the plateau, a couple inches of snow or less. But in some cases, we could see a few inches of snow. It does show 4.5 in Crossville. That seems a little high, but 1 to 3 inches seems to be very possible. So we have weather alert. The red is up for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And today, wintry mix, tomorrow mixed to rain, and then just dry Monday, but cold and some black ice after this rain Sunday. 35 later on tonight, probably by the time we get back to 35. 30 for the low tonight. Well, that's going to be probably hovering between 30 and 35 across the area. And then 42 for tomorrow helps us get out of the wintry mix kind of thing. 16 and 29 on Monday, and then it's dry but cold the rest of the week. So that's your weather for right now, Fallon.
Thank you, Bill, for those updates. Coming up next, Chattanooga Football Club is back at Finley Stadium. Our Big Will Levinson has the latest highlights and who the new coach is for East Hamilton High.
This is the TVFCU Sports Desk.
Boy, this high school basketball season, it is absolutely flying by as we are nearing the final stretch of the regular season in Division II Single A East Region 2. Only two teams have not yet dropped a region game, Boyd Buchanan and Silverdale. And last night, the two went toe-to-toe. The Boyd Buchanan Buccaneers 6-0 in region play. The Silverdale Seahawks 4-0 in the region, shoulder to shoulder across each inch of Silverdale's gym. And boy, what a battle we have between the green and blue. Bucks lead by 1 in the fourth. Now they lead by 3 as Ian Allen lays it up and in. And Boyd was displaying some nice passing as Hudson Jones gets open down low, but there wasn't much room on this court. Rivalry matchup, hotly contested. And in a game like that, the biggest plays are made on the glass. How about Braden Bowers? Point guard playing like a center. That's grit as Bowers just kept attacking the rack, driving in like a freight train. He just wants it more. And so Silverdale leads it by 3 with under a minute to play. And it's Hudson Jones from the corner. Bucket. We are all tied at 45. Jones is fired up, and the Boyd students, they're going absolutely berserk as we are headed to overtime at Silverdale. And in OT, the Seahawks kick it off with a steal and a deuce. Once again, it's BB42. Braden Bowers, boy, he was everywhere in this one as the Silverdale Seahawks make like the Seattle Seahawks and shut it down on defense. And it's some huge free throws late as they hang on to win a barn burner over their rival Boyd Buchanan in overtime, 53-48 to stay unbeaten in region play. And ladies and gentlemen, soccer is back at Finley Stadium. Training sessions are now underway for Chattanooga FC ahead of their 18th season and 3rd in the MLS Next Pro. 35 days until game 1 on March 1st. And after earning a home playoff game last season, but going one and done, this team is solely focused on continued growth.
When you get back out on the turf and the balls are moving and guys are running around and they're working, that's what it is. That's what it is, right? We're a soccer team, so it's really cool to get everybody in. The talking's over now. We get to put some action in. The word is growth, right? We have to continue to grow and improve. We want to not just host a playoff game, but now win a playoff game. We've improved as a club. We've grown as a club consistently. Whether it's the resources, the new building, the staff, the level of players coming in,
and the front office staff has been putting in work this offseason. 11 new players have been signed, and so far the returning players like Georgia native Nathan Kohler like what they see.
The scouting they've done is pretty spot on. They've gone for and got exactly what they wanted. They wanted a bit more youthfulness. They wanted a bit more versatility. Players that can kind of mold into different formations. The expectations are pretty laid out for us. It's better than last season. So last season we finished, I think it's division champions. We don't want division champions, obviously. We want to push to the very top. And I think the beginning of last season really showed that we could do that. We fell off a bit in the summer. I think everyone would admit that. If we can fix that, we'll really push to the top of the league.
Week 1 of training sessions is officially in the books as preseason action for CFC will begin on February 8th, and the season opener awaits March 1st against Crown Legacy FC in downtown Chattanooga at Finley Stadium. And some high school football news. East Hamilton has named Patrick Liner as its next head coach. Liner was offensive coordinator for the Hurricanes from 2019 to 2022, and he was most recently the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Alatoona High School in Georgia. And big news from college football. The CFP committee has announced that the college football playoff will remain at 12 teams next season. That's all for sports. Have a great day and stay safe.
The deadline to avoid another government shutdown is less than a week away. The House passed a bill yesterday to fund the Department of Homeland Security. Most of the necessary appropriations bills have already been passed, but some Democrats want to block the DHS bill. Republicans, however, expect things to go smoothly.
If I were a member of the United States Senate, I would not vote for funding this ICE. I would not vote for funding ICE. That's what I would do.
Homeland was tight because the Democrats want to defund ICE and DHS, but I think it's going to go over to the Senate. I think that there will be enough votes over there to get it through. I don't think they have the appetite.
The DHS bill has become a major issue after multiple clashes between ICE and protesters in Minnesota. And still to come, our winter weather coverage continues. Bill has an update on your forecast, and we'll have another check on the roads. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Live from the studios of News Channel 9, this is Good Morning Chattanooga Weekend.
Thanks for staying with us on Good Morning Chattanooga Weekend. I'm Fallon Howard. Our weekend weather coverage continues this half hour, and we'll have another live update on road conditions in just a moment, but we'll check in first with senior meteorologist Bill Race. Bill, good morning.
Good morning. And important note here, temperature at Level Field has dropped to 28 degrees. They're reporting mixed precipitation, sleet and snow. Winds are out of the northeast at 10. The dew point is 20, by the way, and it feels like 19 degrees. So we still have some room for this temperature to come down a little bit more, with that dew point being pretty far away from the temperature, as long as the precipitation continues, and everything kind of points to that ice storm warning for most areas today. Wintry mix today and tonight, and mainly rain on Sunday. So that will bring us some relief from any icing that does go on, but we're going to still caution you that the precipitation that's falling is mostly in areas that are now at or below freezing. You could have accumulations on power lines, tree limbs, and those kinds of things that can lead to power outages. And so we are seeing even a dusting of snow in some places. And it looks like it's a long stretch of precipitation, and we're just getting started right now. And in close, it's mostly in the blue, which is mostly snow and sleet at this point. We'll have more coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Bill. And right now we're going to check in on the impacts of the weather when it comes to the roadways. And News Channel 9's Meg Doyle is out on Signal Mountain right now. Meg, one road closed there already, and you've seen some accumulation there as well. What can you tell us right now?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Fallon. I'm up here on Signal Mountain, where just in the past half hour, the snow has definitely let up. We're starting to hear and feel some more of the sleet mixture. Definitely still snowing, obviously. But if you can look at the Tennessee Valley, earlier you could not see a thing down there. But now you have a pretty clear view. You can see all the houses and buildings down there have that beautiful white coating of snow up on the roof. And we're going to show you these roads up well. This is here on the brow wow, at Signal Mountain, totally coated in snow. So up here on the mountain, Shoal Creek Road has been closed down. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office has also just announced that the W Road and Roberts Mill Road are also closed down due to inclement weather. So just be mindful of that if you do have to head out today. Now, as we've been saying all week, and we cannot stress this enough, if you don't have to be on the roads, please don't. Just stay home, enjoy your snow day, enjoy your snow weekends, whether that's, going outside and playing in the snow or just curling up with a nice book and a blanket. Just try to stay home. If you do have to be out on the roads, just be so careful. Like we said, up here on the mountain, there's already that accumulation. You can see here, there's enough to make a little snowball. Now, it's not that the good texture snow yet, but we'll get there. But yes, please just be safe today. We'll continue to keep you updated all throughout the day and this weekend as the weather is rapidly changing. But reporting live, I'm Meg Doyle.
Thank you, Meg, for that live report. And taking a look now at our exclusive traffic tracker, as you just heard, there are several roads here in our viewing area that have now just closed. So again, if you are out on the roads, please drive safely as you get to your next destination. Meanwhile, here's a live look outside now from the TDOT SmartWay cameras. This is Highway 153 at Highway 58. As you can see, a little bit of snow accumulation, mostly icy roads, and not a whole lot of people out there this morning. So maybe they're following our advice. Be sure that you stay home if you do not have to be out on the roads. But again, as that continues to develop, we'll continue to keep you updated. And TDOT is reminding drivers about their priorities when it comes to road clearing this weekend. Their ice and snow teams will focus in order on interstates, major state routes, and secondary state routes. They also say that areas may need to be cleared more than once, and that they'll also focus on areas most prone to freezing, including hills, curves, ramps, bridges, and interchanges. Meanwhile, at Atlanta's airport, crews are working to treat the runways ahead of the storm. Airport officials say they have more than 100,000 gallons of liquid brine on hand. And over the past year, the airport has invested millions in brand new de-icing and snow removal equipment. Authorities in our regional area put out a statement similar to the ones we continue to hear in the Tennessee Valley.
Several counties north and east of Macon and southwest of Atlanta remain under a winter storm watch. Significant ice accumulation is possible in the watch and warning counties between Saturday afternoon and Sunday night. Temperatures will drop below freezing Sunday evening and will remain very cold all the way through Tuesday. Downed trees and power lines could cause extended power outages and debris issues in the watch and warning areas through Monday afternoon.
Major airlines like Delta, Southwest, and American Airlines are offering free rebooking through January 28th. And when ice accumulates, that can become dangerous. Robert Beatty with Big Woody's Tree Service says ice, rain, snow, or anything that adds weight to trees can make them more susceptible to falling. He says that is especially true with trees that are already dying or weak. Big Woody's crews are used to remove fallen trees from homes, yards, driveways, and roads. But Beatty says they're expecting to have more calls than normal after this weekend's winter weather. That preparation, he says, includes fueling up equipment and sharpening chainsaws.
Yeah, staging equipment around and just in areas where, we were told that it would, be needed heavily. We've got, I think we got 12 TDOT contracts.
Meanwhile, the Chat Foundation is opening up its warming shelters to those in need. The organization operates the only cold weather warming shelter in Hamilton County. Chat Foundation leaders say the shelter can hold more than 350 people. And ahead of this weekend, CEO Baron King says they have sent out texts alerting recipients of how cold it will be and that the shelter will be open. King says these texts can be life-saving. Take a listen.
They're definitely making life and death decisions in their tent under their tarp about whether or not they're going to use the shelter to stay alive and at the same time risk losing their belongings that they may have to leave in place.
The Chat Foundation says even if they reach capacity, no one will be left in the cold. The Salvation Army of Chattanooga is stepping in to act as a backup shelter. And still to come, developers asked the city of Chattanooga to withdraw an application for a proposed downtown project, one that would have redeveloped an historic building on Patton Parkway. Church staff at the Basilica of Saints Peter and Paul said they had concerns about any development plans near the church. Father David Carter from the Basilica said they are grateful for collaboration with the developer. And Hamilton County Mayor Weston Wamp said they will continue to work on behalf of historic preservation. And still to come, experts across the nation have seen an uptick in respiratory viruses, what residents can do now to help ease the pain of chronic health conditions. Welcome back. In today's Hot Topic, we discuss how experts say vaccines are crucial for people with chronic health conditions because these illnesses weaken the immune system, making people highly vulnerable to severe, life-threatening complications from common infections like RSV, COVID, and the flu. Vaccinations can mean the difference between a mild illness and potentially life-threatening complications, especially as experts see an uptick in respiratory viruses. I spoke with Dr. Sarah C. Nozel, president of the American Academy of Family Physicians, who will touch on what she has seen across patients.
Vaccines are really risk-based in the context of respiratory illness. And so when we think about children and adults with asthma, diabetes, high blood pressure, history of cardiac disease, children with complex medical illnesses, that based on your there will be different vaccines that are recommended that will be the most effective at protecting you from everything from influenza, COVID, RSV, pneumonia. There are so many options available based on your personal health history and your risk factors, and even the community within which you live. We know that often when there's an early peak of influenza, we may see again a later peak as well. And that particularly for children, this flu vaccine, even if you're hearing that there's a part of the flu that's a little bit different than is in the vaccine is actually significantly effective, 70 to 80% at preventing hospitalization and death in children. And for adults, 30 to 40% effective. And that's a tremendous impact if you have chronic illness, and will really be the difference between, having a mild viral illness and perhaps ending up hospitalized or worse.
Physicians emphasize the importance of keeping up with regular visits to your family doctor. Make sure someone has followed up with you. And if you have chronic conditions, ensure they are being managed and make lifestyle choices that support your health.
And we're going to start with weather here. I'm going to back up a slide here and just show you how long of a period of precipitation we have to go here. We really have just gotten started, and it extends back into Middle Tennessee and West Tennessee. A lot of this has been just snow, especially in West Tennessee, where the roads have become snow covered and very icy because their temperatures are between about 14 and 19 degrees, it seems, for West Tennessee. Now, as far as our area, we have also seen snow, and we've seen some freezing rain and sleet and just plain rain earlier, but most temperatures now are very close to or below freezing. So in close again here, we're going to see that we're pretty much covered up with the blue color and some green. So, or some breaks actually. Don't think we're really seeing the green so much, but we are into the blue here, which is mostly sleet and snow, but I'm sure there's still some liquid precipitation involved in that. So temperatures 28 in Chattanooga and then 19 in Crossville is an important one. It kind of indicates that along the plateau that it is much colder, and the roads for any precipitation that falls are going to get icy, as will the power lines, as will the tree limbs, and that goes for the valleys as well, as we're seeing temperatures even there, mostly in the upper 20s now, so they continue to fall. Murphy's 33, but that'll be changing, and they will begin to fall as the precip gets going a little bit more. Now, temperatures with wind chill, 7 in Crossville. The wind has been kind of brisk at times, 19 here in Chattanooga. So 28 degrees is where the point here is at 11 a.m. in Chattanooga. We have a mix of precipitation that's just going to kind of continue to trail in here from the west to the east just about, and that continues into tonight. This is 9 p.m. Now the temperature actually is starting to show some signs of rising, but we stay around 32 into the early morning hours, and then late tonight, and I say late tonight, towards daybreak, we start to see those temperatures get above freezing, and the precip turns around to just rain, and that should help pretty fast as far as any icing that's going on. But between now and then, we have to be very, very cautious out there. The rain comes to a close pretty much as we get to about 4 p.m. tomorrow, or even a little earlier, but the temperatures are above freezing at just about all of our locations. Well, all of our locations as it looks now. Now, as far as ice accumulation, here's the projection, or the potential anyway. And what you're going to see is along the plateau here, almost a ½ inch possible of ice. If that's the case, that's going to be very, very dangerous and very damaging to probably some power lines and certainly the trees and that kind of thing. Elevated surfaces, especially if you're stepping out on that, be very, very careful. Now in the valleys, it's more like about 1/10 of an inch to 2/10 of an inch. And as we look at any snowfall projections and potential, a couple inches of snow mostly along the plateau. Crossville is plotting out 4.5. That seems a little high. And then we are making our way into much less as we get into the valleys, less than an inch. We have some dustings already. 35 will be probably later on tonight. And low temperatures around midnight, probably around 30, and then rising from there. 35 is not going to be had for a while again. 42 on Sunday, better, mixed to rain, and then partly cloudy and very cold Monday. And we have that cold weather with a low of 8 on Tuesday morning. And that's your weather for now, Fallon.
Thank you, Bill, for those updates. And you've heard this many times this week, but remember that our entire news team is covering all the impacts of this weekend's weather. No matter what ends up hitting the ground, we'll be there to keep you informed and prepared. That includes on-road conditions, closings, and temperatures through next week. And something else we've talked about is how to stay connected through the weekend. If you do not have our News Channel 9 weather app, just scan the QR code on your screen. And of course, you can get alerts, hour-by-hour forecast, and radar maps right down to your house. Again, all through our app. And we want to thank you for letting News Channel 9 be your choice for news. It continues 24 hours a day at newschannel9.com. Don't forget to join us on Facebook and Twitter. Stay safe out there, and we will continue our winter storm coverage on air and online. Have a great start to your Saturday morning.
All right, we are under that weather alert, and it's 28 degrees, and we have some mixed precipitation. We have some snow, we have some freezing rain, we have some sleet. That's what this symbol is indicating here. And we have winds that are pretty strong. Now, they have calmed a little bit here in the last observation. They were up to about 15, 16 miles per hour, now 10. It feels like 19 degrees outside. This temperature is vital and a good example of what we're having in the valleys now, but we'll see more on temperatures here in just a second. And stand by, because we're going to get to Meg Doyle here in just a few minutes, and she's going to update us on what was a snowy Signal Mountain just not too long ago. Ice storm warning for most counties in our area. Now in Northeast Alabama, it's a winter weather advisory, but a winter storm warning for Cumberland County. We have that wintry mix today and tonight, but then gradually changing over to just rain as we get into Sunday. Now, we're going to check out the storm tracker. We're going to spend a little time just looking at how this is a large storm and a large area of precipitation. And it goes now just about into upper East Tennessee. That may not be touching the ground just yet, but certainly has been elsewhere, all the way back to West Tennessee and into Arkansas. And we are seeing most of that in the form of snow, especially in West Tennessee, where they have had the roads really covered up. Meantime, if we get in a little bit closer here, we're going to find ourselves with, again, mostly snow and sleet, I would say, is the common denominator here as far as this blue area is concerned. Now, this has gone back and forth from snow to sleet and even some freezing rain. So we are off to a start that is not really great news, because this is going to give a lot of time to some freezing temperatures and falling precipitation. And so when it does get into a little more freezing rain, then you could see the icing really accumulate on some of these places that do not need it, like power lines, trees. We've heard this all before. 28 degrees, the temperature again, but it is much colder to the west, in the teens. A lot of this coldest air we will be feeling the effects of in not too many days. Now, as far as temperatures across the area, we have 19 in Crossville, 28 degrees in Chattanooga. In some of these higher elevations, it seems like upper teens, lower 20s are quite common, and the precipitation has been falling there. And in fact, up on Signal Mountain, we have been seeing precipitation falling, and it has been quite interesting. And Meg Doyle has been seeing a lot of that. And I understand Meg is ready to tell us all about what's been going on up on Signal Mountain, not only from the past few hours, but what's going on right now. Meg, are you there?
Yes, good morning, Bill. Everything you said, obviously spot on. Right now, it has switched from a snow to more of that mixed precipitation. We're having some more sleet/rain, freezing rain here. Definitely not snowing as heavy it was just about an hour ago. You can see earlier when the snow was really coming down, we couldn't see the Tennessee Valley at all. Up here now, you can see that beautiful view. You can see the houses and buildings here are already dusted with that white snow. Not seeing too many cars on the roads from up here, which is great. You need to definitely stay off the roads here. On Signal Mountain, there's already that coating of snow on the roads. There's already been some road closures as well. Shoal Creek Road up here on Signal has been shut down, as well as the sheriff's office announced that the W Road and Roberts Mill Road are both closed as well due to that inclement weather. So again, the main message, if you can stay off the roads today, please do so. Not only does it protect yourself, other drivers on the roads, but also our first responders who are going to have to go out and help people who do end up getting stuck or getting in wrecks. And really, we just want to keep everyone safe today, especially since this weather really is evolving from snow to sleet to that ice we know that we're also going to get later on. I actually had the opportunity to drive on a driving simulator at Behind the Wheel Driving Academy here in Chattanooga the other day, just to show the difference between stopping distance. When I was driving on dry roads, my stopping distance was about 114 feet. And then when we did it in icy conditions, that increased to more than 400 feet it took to stop. So that kind of puts it into perspective about just how dangerous it is to drive on these ice. And I know that TDOT and GDOT and all our agencies have been working so hard, salt and brining, pre-treating the roads. And of course, they're going to be out and about all weekend. But the thing we've been hearing is, especially when these roads ice over, you cannot plow ice. So the best bet is just to stay off the roads. And for those of you who may have to go on the roads, just take your time, take the main roads. Those are the ones that got the most treatment. So definitely just be safe. Enjoy the snow day. We have some accumulation here. I could make a little bit of a snowball here. It's firming up a bit, which is better for that snowball weather, but not quite enough to do snow angels. I was going to, and my photographer Brent said maybe not yet. So maybe later on this morning. But again, just please be safe. Stay off the roads. Stay inside if you can, or bundle up and enjoy the snow. Reporting live, I'm Meg Doyle.
All right, Meg, thank you. And there's some people think I should probably work on that driving simulator. So let's look now at the future weather maker that we're in right now. And this is showing us in the snow and mix. This is 11 a.m. We're going to trend towards more mixed precipitation than just snow as we go through the morning, I feel. We are, but we did get that initial snow that we talked about some, because sometimes just that first part of the storm can be colder above us. Temperatures then into the low to mid 30s as we go through tonight. and tomorrow. And then it turns into mostly just rain as we get into that point in time. All right, let's review the 7-day for you. And we have a high of 35. It's kind of deceiving because that could be much later this evening when temperatures start to rise a little bit, or even after midnight. But the point is that during the day today, we're right around freezing or a little below. 42 degrees though on Sunday as the mix goes to rain, and then partly cloudy skies Monday, but still weather alert because we're going to have a good deal of rain Sunday, and we could have a lot of black ice Monday morning because we're going down to 16, and that could be a problem all to itself. And then Tuesday through Friday look dry, highs in the 30s, lows still very cold, 15 to 20 degrees, very much in focus. And that's your weather.
Big tree problems? Call the big experts, Big Woody's Tree Service. From dangerous removals to careful pruning, we've got the tools, the team, and the know-how. We handle the tough job safely, quickly, and at a fair price. Our team knows their stuff and will make sure your property stays safe and beautiful. So when your trees get too tall, who you gonna call? Big Woody's Tree Service. We'll take it from here.